again, I'm Steve Keim, and welcome to At the Roundtable. My very special guest today is the Interim Supervisor for Parks and Recreation for the City of Enid, Cory Buller. Cory, how you doing?
I'm good.
Good to see you. Every time I see you, it seems like you're doing 47 things at one time. It's kind of nice to see you in kind of one.
Yeah, it is. We're all over the place always. So.
Well, right off the bat, Cory, we want to define the Park and Recreation Department in just a moment, but let's explain to the viewers, what is your role as that supervisor at Park and Recreation?
Well, I kind of see to it that all our maintenance gets done. We've got many things we're responsible for in Parks and Recreation. We've got over 400 acres of parks, trails.
You want to say that again? 400 acres?
400 acres, yes.
Because oftentimes, excuse me for interrupting you, but because oftentimes people think, well, they see the North Government Springs Park and maybe they see a few ballparks, but that really puts it in perspective.
It does. We've got a lot of ground to cover, and obviously rain always puts us behind when we have issues with rain, like last week. But yeah, we've got about 400 acres, a little over. We've got about 8 miles of trail system that we cover, both sides of the trail.
Do we have an official number of parks that we have?
Yeah, there's roughly 28. Okay. There's some other buildings that we consider a park that aren't actually called a park, but yeah.
And that's a number right there, Cory, that people are saying, 28 parks in Enid? Well, if you start going down the list and adding up, I mean, you may have 5 or 6 that are popular or that you visit, but I knew it was 20-some parks.
Yeah, and some of them are small little pocket, what we call pocket
Sure.
neighborhood parks, instead to the large parks like Meadow Lake and Crossland. So, yeah, we cover a lot of ground. Parks and Recreation also covers all the special events in town, covers all the parades, all the roadblocks, and stuff like that.
Because when there's barricades for protection, for roadways, banners, things of this nature, you all are all involved in that.
Yes.
As in your role as the interim supervisor, can you kind of share with me what a typical day? I know there's no such thing as a typical day.
There is no such thing.
But I realize you're wearing many or several hats. What would be an example of a day starting early morning to late afternoon?
Well, right now we start our days at 7 a.m. I'll have a meeting with all our guys and women, and men. We'll have a meeting to go over the day, and I've got about 16 employees that are full-time right now and each one of them has a specific job that we go through every day. We'll sit and plan a daily work order for all 16 of these people. And they'll do everything from mowing to picking up trash to cleaning and stocking restrooms to just about everything. So we usually start the morning off like that, and I usually have 2 to 3 meetings a day, various organizations. But I like to be on job sites a lot. We'll just kind of check and see how things are going. So we'll have guys mowing. We'll have, we prep all the athletic fields, football, softball, soccer. So there really isn't a normal, typical day for me. I'm usually everywhere, and I usually can't plan on being somewhere at all times. So
when we talk about the Park and Recreation Department, I think people think of, okay, we got Champlin Swimming Pool, maybe Meadow Lake Park, and some of the key attractions. But there's a lot more to that. Before the airing of this program, we were talking a little bit about being proactive. How important is that in your work, but also the Park and Recreation, to be forward thinking on the next thing? How important?
Very important, very important. And unfortunately, sometimes we have to be reactive, which is where we rely on the citizens of Enid a lot of times. Our eyes are out there a lot, but there's some things that we might not see all the times that are broken, that, a call or an email or something that will really help us out and know that there is a problem out there and we can get out to it. But yeah, we got to be very proactive. And as I was saying, for instance, Champlin Pool, we're draining it right now, and we're already planning on the maintenance of it right now throughout the winter time, and already planning ahead to refill the water, get all our chemicals in order. And that's with everything. That's with our athletic fields, our parks, our trees. We'll start trimming our trees in the parks throughout this winter time coming up. But we've got to be always forward thinking.
I think oftentimes within the city, we think of streets or highways and things of this nature, but sometimes we forget the significant maintenance role that it takes to keep up with Parks and Recreation and all of our park areas that we have. Well, my special guest today at the Roundtable again is Cory Bullard. Cory is the Interim Supervisor with Park and Recreation for the City of Enid. And one of the key reasons to have Cory here at the Roundtable today is to talk about sharing our similarities and celebrating our differences. Last year, there was a community cultural celebration that took place, seemed to be well received, okay? Can't believe it, but a year's gone by. So number 2, community cultural celebration coming up on October 13 here in 2018. Cory, what is, for someone that may be new to the community, they really don't know what a community cultural celebration is all about. How would you define that?
Well, Enid's lucky enough to have many different cultures in this town, between religions, ethnicities. We've just got a wide array of it, and this is just a day that we've set aside to kind of bring all of them together, celebrate the differences, share the similarities. We're going to have food. There'll be food trucks, food vendors, different ethnical foods groups being there, cooking there. We're going to have crafts, kids games. We'll probably have some bouncy houses. Entertainment. We'll have music, dancers, different costumes from just various different music and dancing.
And that's one thing, Cory, that I remember from last year, and looking at some of the photographs and some of the videos, things of this nature, was a lot of the entertainment were dressed in their native costume or wardrobe, if you will. So with the little kids dancing in their large dresses, whatever cultural representation, you're thinking, this is in Enid, Oklahoma, but yes, it is. So what would be some of the takeaways from last year's event? Was it a relaxing day with a lot of food, a lot of introduction to cultures? How would you kind of recap it?
I would recap it with one word: is fun. I think everybody really had a good time. Festive would be another good word to use. And just like you said, all the different colorful variations of costumes and dancing, and you think Enid, Oklahoma, that stuff I never see that. And that's why this day is so important. It's fun to really bring those to light, and you can actually see them and realize what we have in Enid.
Sure.
And we're really lucky to have such a wide variety.
We're talking about the community cultural celebration that will take place in Enid, Oklahoma on Saturday, October 13th, and it'll be at Government Springs Park North. Timeline from 2 to 6 p.m. And if you're new to the area, North Government Springs is on the east side of the community. It's around 509 East Oklahoma Avenue. North Government Park Springs is where you see the cows, the longhorns, the silhouette of those cows, and just north of there you'll find this Government Springs Park. Cory, who can attend this thing?
Everyone. Anyone who wants to. It's free to the public.
You don't have to fit into these categories of the cultural.
Nope, it's free to the public, free to attend. And I would encourage everyone just to get out and see what is here in Enid. It's very interesting and fun.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. I really would encourage just everyone to come out and check it out.
The time frame is 2 to 6 p.m. on Saturday, October 13th. So that time frame of 2 to 6 p.m. is not too structured. So it's kind of a come and go event, right?
Absolutely.
If you only have, if you want to watch college football, you can. Yeah. And if you only have an hour for the community cultural event, that's okay as well.
That is
so. Why do you think it's important that we should share our similarities and, as the theme says, celebrate our differences? What's the significance to you about that?
It's just, it's a wild world we live in today anyways, so.
Well said.
Enid is a really good town, and I think it is very interesting and very important for everyone to realize, who your neighbor is and have fun and just like we're saying, share our similarities and celebrate our differences. It's really.
On the flyer that I have in front of me, I'm just going to share with you just a few. There's a long list of different cultures represented, but it's African American, Egyptian, Indian, military, Native American, Marshallese, the list goes on. And you put that combination together and go, that's kind of like opening up the encyclopedia, but you're there firsthand to see cultures, the food, the dance, and just really the interaction with different individuals. With the theme, sharing similarities and celebrating our differences, what do you hope people will take away from this second year's event?
Just to keep coming back and to keep, just to realize other people's culture. you know, and realize that there are more ways to think about everything than just the way you have.
I think it's real easy that
understand.
I think it's real easy for us to get locked into our mindset, our families, our background, our cultures, and just have our blinders on because we're so busy doing things. Unless you have an event like this that exposes you to those things, like I said, it's like opening a history book or an encyclopedia. You get introduced firsthand to what other cultures are all about. So,
Absolutely.
Cory, let me ask you this: as individuals that are watching our interview today, and they go, community cultural celebration, I think we need to be involved with that. I only mentioned a few of the cultures that will be highlighted. If they want to get plugged in, what is the best way for somebody to say, Cory, we want to be represented, or we want to have dancers, we want to bring a food truck, or we have entertainment. How would you do this all call?
Absolutely. I would love anybody who's interested to get in contact with us. Call the City of Enid telephone number. Go ask for the Parks and Recreation Department. Just tell them that you would like to be involved. Let us know. We've got a Enid Parks and Recreation Facebook page that we have. We usually monitor that pretty regularly. But I would very much highly encourage anybody who's interested to get involved with this to do so.
And the Facebook site is Enid Parks and Recreation. If you're on Facebook and you're looking forward, it'd be Enid Parks and Recreation.
Enid Parks and Recreation.
Okay. Well, Cory, thank you very much. Appreciate what you do and your staff does behind the scenes to keep our parks looking good. It's real easy for us to drive down the road and look over at North Government Springs or South Government Springs or a lot of the ballparks and say, boy, those look nice and manicured. Well, it didn't happen overnight by itself.
It did not.
And how many acres, again, of parks do we have in Enid, Oklahoma?
Over 400 acres.
400 acres. That's a big backyard, Cory.
Yes, it is.
And front
Yes, it
yard
is.
as well. Well, thanks for the work that you do, and thanks for sharing this information.
Thank you.
Our topic today at the Roundtable with Cory Bowler is the Community Cultural Celebration. That event is coming up Saturday, October 13th. Government Springs Park North. The timeline is around 2 to 6 p.m. All types of cultures will be celebrated. There's crafts, food, activities, everything from the young and old and everybody in between. All kinds of entertainment. It's open to the public Saturday, October 13th. So we'll see you soon at the Community Cultural Celebration event. This is Steve Keim with the City of Enid. Thank you for joining us today at the Roundtable.